A CSGO creator known as Houngoungagne, I always mispronounce his name, so I just call him Jeff, is now going after the entire CSGO gambling industry, at least the unregulated part. In a recent documentary, which will be 3 parts, and he is scheduling the releases, he's calling out everybody involved in the space.
Collected data on Twitch. This is the top 300 CSGO streamers since the beginning of this year, ranked by watch time. It is quite a painful process, but I went and I checked how many of them are promoting that kind of stuff. Out of 300, 226 are currently sponsored by at least one of them. Some have up to 5. We are looking at 75%. Out of 4 streamers, 3 are currently promoting these websites live on Twitch. By the way, Twitch TOS are explicitly forbidding you to promote affiliate codes and links to sites that contain slots, roulettes, or dice games. And also mentions that for a gambling website to be allowed on Twitch, they take into account a US license and sufficient consumer protection. I have reached out to Twitch for a comment, but they denied. YouTube is a bit harder to analyze, but I found that 80% of the creators uploaded at least one video or one integration inside the video to promote one of these websites since 2023. By the way, YouTube TOS are explicitly forbidding you to promote links to online gambling, as well as any promotion to online gambling that doesn't have the Google certification. And now here's a fun fact. During the making of this video, I have uploaded a small segment so that the lawyers could watch it for me. YouTube flagged that segment for promotion of unregulated gambling, and they have applied a lifetime warning to my channel for promotion of unregulated gambling on a video I am making to educate the people about that. It's been something like a month now, and I don't think it's gonna go away.
And throughout this documentary, he actually goes after not just one individual. Even the parents are at fault, but not anyone individually, as even the streamers, the content creators, Twitch, and Valve are all compliant in the issues brought by CSGO case opening and the unregulated gambling, which he also says is a bit of a stepping stone and a gateway to gambling in real life on these third-party websites, which involve CSGO skins.
Yep.
But in a 12-year-old's mind, a knife is a knife, and
Wait,
I have a
you
big
were
chance.
12 years old?
Yes. I was 12 when I got introduced to this. My 12-year-old mind was like, there is so much bigger chance of winning on these websites than there is on CSGO. Are you 18? Yes.
I started gambling at 16, and in total, I've lost somewhere in between 10 to 14,000 in gambling over the past few years.
My name is Alexander.
Manny,
Maurice, Stefan,
Spencer,
Roxy,
I am 23 years old.
20 years old.
22 years old. I'm 23 years old.
I'm 22.
I am 22 years old.
I'm from Germany,
The United States.
the UK.
Sweden.
In Texas,
Ireland. And I started gambling when I was 13, 14.
15 years old.
Started gambling when I was 13.
13 to 14 years old.
I want to say 17.
14 or 15.
And in total, I've probably lost about £10,000 over the course of 7-8 years.
$600. 11 grand gambling.
1,000 euros, I think.
3 or 4,000, I'd say.
All I had was a Steam account, trade link, and that was it. I was ready.
It was mainly through content creators. Gambling via a third party was promised as you had better odds, was all I really cared about at that age. You would sign via Steam, but yeah, there was no verification.
And even crazier, he breaks it down as apparently 75% of streamers in the CSGO space, 80% of content creators have at least promoted gambling once in the past year, if not multiple times. A number that is strikingly high compared to other esports and video games out there that have kind of stemmed away from this model due to the backlash over loot crates and loot boxes many years back. It is kind of crazy that CSGO has kind of gone under the radar. And it felt like for me throughout this entire thing, he's not necessarily going again after one party and does not have any issues with people who are of age opening cases. His main issue is the fact that Valve and CSGO and Twitch and YouTube and all of these compliant parties allow it to be so easily to actually open these cases. The root of the issue started with Valve in the game of CSGO, that anyone of any age can go onto the game with some Steam currency, which is very easy to acquire, and open these cases for easy skins, evidently being a gateway to going to these third third-party websites to gamble those same skins with no age restrictions, no age requirements, no verification of your identity, and it's very, very easy to do. I don't think anyone is denying that. And so I asked him exactly why he is doing this. What exactly, drove him to do this? And he says it just became so much of a problem. He himself had fielded offers of millions of dollars, which he has denied from these case opening sites. He also noticed a big problem when at CSGO Majors, we were all cheering for people opening these cases, which is a form of gambling.
Now, I guess that's because of I have to do it now. And why am I doing it? Because no one else is doing it. You don't see anyone in the scene talking about what's happening around CSGO and gambling. And in fact, they have become tied together to a point you can't dissociate CSGO and gambling anymore. And there's a huge amount of misinformation being spread around between regulated and unregulated websites. The public doesn't know the difference. The streamers don't know the difference. The YouTubers don't know the difference. And in the end, it becomes a mix of blurred environment, which is toxic. And in my end, the reason I'm doing it now is because I've been doing this for 10 years? Kind of 10 years, actually. And it's always been a way for me to, all the videos I've made about the subject would have been so far me ranting about something. And I would just be Jeff talking. So no impact. And I was like, all right, CS2 is around the corner. I have just learned some pretty heavy stuff around that. Let's see what I can do. And I've, been there to now make it a thing with lawyers, experts, and governments, or actually government entities involved, so that it is no longer Jeff saying his opinion. It is now things with facts, with laws, with very specific details that show you that the situation is really fucked up, essentially.
I also asked him his overall end goal, as he's not going after one party individually, saying not one person or party is 100% at fault, but they all kind of, use each other or at least fall in the same category. And he wants some sort of age restriction on opening cases in CSGO, because that is stopping the root of the issue.
So it's a tough one to answer in a short format, because there's a lot of I'm doing this thing in the documentary called The Chain of Responsibility. Of course, the websites are a problem. They are, but they are just a chain they're just a link on the whole chain that allows them to exist. In the end, the websites are nothing but distant companies based in distant islands. And obviously, the country themselves, they cannot go out there on the islands and make them shut down. So there's a lot of people who are having some kind of responsibility in there. You find the websites, you find the content creators, you find the platforms. We haven't mentioned it yet, but Twitch, they have banned Stake, right? On the basis that Stake is an unregulated gambling website. What's an unregulated gambling website? A website that doesn't have a license. Can we look at the CSGO websites, please, right? If you find that 80% or more that the top 300 CSGO streamers are promoting unregulated websites, we could say that it's an actual problem on the platform as well. So Twitch, YouTube, content creators, esports organizations, right? We can talk about G2 and the sponsorship with CSGO Roll. In the end, I've come to the conclusion that the only way to actually make it stop is to not focus on one individuality in the chain. I'm calling out the entire system, and we the public, and the regulators, the country regulators, have to react for hoping to push for a change.
And it's going to be a big feat as he talks to several people throughout this, people as young as 12 years old when they first started gambling, or people in their 30s and 40s, people who have lost hundreds, some of thousands, some tens of thousands of dollars. He also interviews several people on this case of how these websites somehow get away with it, which certainly there is an issue in CSGO with unregulated gambling. There's hands down, I don't think anyone can argue against that. He proves in this documentary how many of these sites are using these loopholes. Despite being CSGO gambling sites, none of them are registered as so or have the proper licensing to actually be doing it, and they still somehow operate through YouTubers and creators on Twitch and on YouTube without being cracked down against. And I'll be honest, guys, I don't mind opening cases whatsoever. I don't mind creators doing so, and either does Jeff. His big issue, though, is the fact that CSGO and Valve don't age verify, don't age restrict, and anyone at any time, at any age, can go onto CSGO and do these things, which lead to the other things also being unregulated, the gambling sites. So therefore, Valve is partially the issue, but so too are these gambling sites, but so too are the creators and streamers who promote these gambling sites as well. So where does most of the fault lie? It's really up to you guys to determine on your own personal thoughts. But this will be a 3-part documentary, and apparently the next one, or the third one, will be going after Valve, because he believes they deserve a dedicated video for the root of this issue, starting with them. What do you guys think as one man takes on the entire CSGO gambling industry? This is going to be interesting to see how this shakes out, especially with so many creators and streamers being involved and promoting this stuff. We'll see what Valve does as well. Will they crack down yet again for like the third time in the past 10 years? I have no idea. It's going to be interesting to see how this one plays out. Till next time, drink up. We'll see you soon.